And Luzyna too. Just ask about it. Helena was full of excitement on her way back to her barracks. New Zealand. Unlike Sonia and Adam, to her the country meant something. She could still recall packages covered with bright stamps, and letters in English, which her mother had translated with her. A friend of her father's, a German dentist, had fled to New Zealand right after Hitler seized power. As a Jew, he couldn't see a future for himself in Germany. In the years after his emigration, he'd shared his experiences in that new land with his European friends. The Grabowskis had read his letters with excitement. After the war started, when provisions ran low, they eagerly anticipated his packages filled with dried meat, fish, jars of preserves, and sweets for the children. Helena's mother had insisted that the girls thank him personally, a good opportunity to practice their English. Helena still had a rough idea of his address: Elizabeth Street, Wellington. The capital of his new country, according to Werner Neumann, was not unlike Lvov or Dusseldorf. He even mentioned theatre and opera performances, warehouses, and a parliament building. Naturally, contact was cut off when the Grabowskis were deported, but in Iran, where the refugees could listen to English radio broadcasts, Helena had always listened closely when the country was mentioned. She knew that, although New Zealand had sent troops to the war in Europe, there had been no bombing there. It sounded peaceful. When Helena thought about New Zealand, she thought of shepherds in green pastures, brightly painted wooden houses, and kind people. Her uncle Werner and his family had gotten their bearings there quickly. They had needed to learn English, but Helena already spoke the language quite well. It would be much simpler to find a job in New Zealand, or even to attend a university, than in Iran. Helena's heart beat faster at the thought of perhaps even visiting the Neumanns if she could secure places for Luzyna and herself. She decided to ask the camp administration the next day, right after she had spoken with Luzyna. Helena steeled herself for a fight, only to be pleasantly surprised. Luzyna brought up the subject herself. "Caspar and I are going to New Zealand," she said as the sisters snuggled into their blankets that night. "Caspar's going to open a car repair shop. There can't be that many there already. It's supposed to be all sheep and cows. Even Uncle Werner said so." Helena furrowed her brow. She could hardly imagine that such a large and modern country as New Zealand wouldn't be motorized, and she didn't quite see Caspar, who'd only been helping with camp vehicles for a few months, as the mechanic the country had been waiting for. She didn't particularly care about that, though. The main thing was that Luzyna was interested in going. "You two already know how you're going to make this happen?" Helena asked cautiously. Luzyna nodded enthusiastically. "Of course. Caspar heard New Zealand wants to take in 700 refugees. They have to be orphans, but that's the only condition. Most of them will come from the orphanage in Isfahan, but we can also apply with Dr. Virchow. We just have to go see her. She's putting a list together." Dr. Virchow, a medical doctor employed by the Polish exile government, was responsible for the children in the camps around Tehran. She organized their health care, as well as coordinating the schools and educational opportunities. Helena had already dealt with her on several occasions, when she'd registered for the sewing course and for Persian lessons. She had also applied to be an English teacher, though she was turned down because of her age. Dr. Virchow had decided kindly that Helena should concentrate on recovering from the strain of the journey and imprisonment in Siberia. After a year, they would discuss it again. In any case, Helena didn't fear the doctor, although she could not believe that simply showing up would suffice to get a place on the list of the orphans bound for New Zealand. There would probably be a health exam, and English proficiency might play a role as well. Still, Helena had high hopes for both Luzyna's and her own prospects. True, her sister didn't speak English as well as she did, but she was still better than most of the people in the camp. And they were both healthy. The doctor herself had told them that repeatedly. "You wouldn't mind my coming along, would you?" Helena finally asked after listening to her sister go on and on about her and Caspar's rosy future at the other end of the world. Luzyna smiled, leaned over and hugged her. "I'm not going anywhere without you," she declared. Her words warmed Helena's heart, whether Luzyna meant them or not.